Hi, all you SPMEs out there. Today's how-to has 11 steps, and the 11th step is a secret that you're going to want to stick around for, because I'm going to tell you the difference between the winners in self-publishing and the losers in self-publishing and what the winners are doing differently. So let's get into it. Today's how-to is how to write a book. 10 simple steps to self-publishing. So this is something that many people, when you're getting started, you definitely want to be able to figure out what exactly are the steps necessary. If you're not just going to want, you have the first level, which is just putting the book on the market. And then you have the second level, and that is making sure that book is going to sell. But there's an 11th step, even though I said 10, there's an 11th one. And that is what makes a little bit of the difference here between the winners and the losers. But before I go into the how-tos, let me let you know this is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like for me to make more videos like this one. And check out below in the description and you will find my absolutely free checklist that goes into detail on these 10 steps and tells you exactly what you're not doing or should be doing if you wish to sell more books. So let's get into it. How to write a book. 10 simple steps to self-publishing. Well, let's go into my story first. When I first got started in self-publishing, I thought there was about 150 steps. Now, in reality, when I have my really detailed checklist that my virtual assistants and that I were working together, because initially it was just me until the book started making money that I could afford to pay for virtual assistants to help me with this entire process. There are maybe 500 or 700 steps required in order to get the book into all the different formats and all of the different little micro steps and such like that. But the fact is it doesn't have to be so complicated. I just discovered that by breaking it down, and each time I did something, I learned something about, wait a second here, this step is something I've been skipping, and this is something I'm definitely going to want to do. And that's the reason that it started to evolve, and understanding that it can be broken down into very easy steps, that a 10-year-old could understand the steps and could carry out those steps to completion should he or she go through the process that's necessary to get to that point. In other words, where they had written a story, and then it's just like one little step at a time until we get through the process. And that was one of the motivations when I first got started, that I wanted to see if I could help people make self-publishing easy. That was one of the key issues for me, which was that I found it to be a little bit tricky. Now, I did get a book onto the market, and I did make some sales, but not as many as I could have made. And even those books are making a lot more money now than they were when I first released them onto the market, because I've learned how to optimize those books by following very similar steps as the ones I'm going to go through today. So how to write a book, 10 simple steps to self-publishing. Well, here are the answers. Let's get into it. So the first one is book topic exploration. We're going to want to write a book on a topic that already has people who are buying books in that topic. We're not trying to come up with a new niche or genre that doesn't already exist. And that's because people like to buy things in different ways, and if we would like people to actually buy our book, well then wouldn't it be clever to make sure that our book is in something that people are already buying? That's the easiest way to find out. So if we want to know if there's fish in the river out back here, well, maybe it would be good to see if other people are already fishing there. Now, it is true you could go around to every single pond, every little bit of water, every stream, and throw a fishing line in there and find out for yourself. But let's say you do find fish, other people will start to come because everybody's using this strategy. And so you aren't going to want to be left behind on this particular one. Then step 2, you're going to order a ghostwritten manuscript or write the book yourself. So sit down, come up with a number of words a day you're going to write, or go with a ghostwriter. So you can go on to Upwork or other locations, Fiverr, wherever, Epic, Write. There's a number of places you can go to find somebody who can help you write the book, to help you get it onto the market. Because maybe the topics that you found aren't topics necessarily that you're particularly interested in, but people want to have high quality books on those topics, and you're looking at this as a side hustle. And so this is a definite option. High quality books, even if you're not writing them, written by other people, in order to find onto a market. This gives a very powerful combination, and it doesn't suck up your time. But again, I didn't even have the money to do anything like that until my own book started making enough money to support that as well. That brings us into our third point, which is order or create a cover yourself. And these are both options. Now, when I first got started, I was on the cheap, and so I created the covers myself, and those sales were terrible compared to what happened when I swapped out the covers. It just showed the difference. You can see below in my description my affiliate link for the Fiverr cover designer that I personally use for the covers that I still order to this very day, or this very week, in fact, maybe even today. So you're going to want to check her out. She's fantastic. So then we move on to number 4. We're going to format the manuscript. I use a tool called Jutoh, which you also can find my affiliate link in the description. This is the easiest one. My VAs, I trained everybody up on how exactly to use these tools in order to put together books quickly and succinctly, where all of the parts of the book are easy to understand, easy to digest, easy to put into all of the different formats that we're going to put it in. Then we're going to export, for number 5, export the book to paper and ebook versions. And this one gets a little bit tricky because initially we're going to do KDP print and Kindle. And initially, just focus on the Kindle just to see if you can at least get the book onto the market, and then we go to the print after that. But it's really not that big of a deal if you use a good tool like Jutoh. And later on, we can use the exact same print format and use that for our hardback books and our Ingram Spark books. And then for our ebook, we can just tell it to go into EPUB as opposed to Mobi and put it out to Smashwords. And so now we've got it in all these different formats. And since we've got an ebook in Kindle format, that opens us up to ACX for our audiobook format. But we'll get to that in a second. Then we're going to go for 6. We're going to format the cover. That can be a little bit challenging for the print books, but you'll get the hang of it. I use a free tool called GIMP, just like Photoshop, but free. Why pay for something that you can get for free? That's always been my policy. And when you're running this, you need to keep costs in mind every single step of the way. Number 7, we're going to upload the books into those different platforms. Only one platform at a time, though, just so we make sure we don't overload ourselves. And then 8, we're going to order the audiobook version because we have the Kindle version out on Amazon. That makes it possible to order the audio version. You're going to find either using one of their existing narrators where you split the royalties, or what I prefer, go to Upwork and find yourself a narrator over there who's already has experience and can help you with this process, and that is what I've done. 9, we're going to adjust the pricing to make sure that we're on our ebooks making a minimum of $2 per ebook on the sales for a single manuscript. If it's double manuscripts, we're going to make an additional $1 for every additional manuscript. So if it were 2 manuscripts, we should be making a $3 profit. And for our paperback books, no matter where we're selling them, we want to make $5 for the base manuscript for the first book, and then $1 additional for each additional manuscript we add on to that book when we're bundling it together. And finally, we're going to gather reviews, whether we're dealing with family or friends or readers that we have, or maybe we've created an email list. There's lots of different ways of getting reviews. I would not suggest review swapping or finding virtual assistants who are swapping reviews with other virtual assistants. That will end up getting your account threatened or banned, as I have seen other people have issues with. So, and that brings us to our secret answer of the day. So, with the key issue, the top 10 steps, which actually this is the 11th step, and it is don't do everything at once. Just set it off an amount of time per day and move slowly through the steps. So start with the first step and say, I'm going to start with 5 minutes a day. That's what I started with, but then move it to 30 minutes a day, and then see if you can increase that amount of time. But do not try to do all the steps at once. Move slowly through the steps, and you can also improve as you go. You'll learn new things. You'll find steps that maybe I'm not even doing that are better for you. And as you move through it, you will get your first book onto the market. So, how to write a book, 10 simple steps to self-publishing. What have you found? I'd really love to know if I missed any steps. Let me know below in the comments. I respond to 100% of all comments that come in. And check up above me here for more answers to your self-publishing questions. Thanks.